All right, welcome in. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Make sure you visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Stop down in Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up, and they will save you 15% off your order. Have them cater your tailgate. Have them cater your watch party. But whatever you do, make sure you're supporting our sponsor at Galactic Fried Chicken. All right, big night tonight. Cincinnati adds a big-time commitment at point guard in Jizzle James. And to get more on Jizzle James, his commitment, his game, what makes him tick, why he's a great fit for the Bearcats, I thought it was important. We reach out to my guy, Steve Reece, who is a Cincinnati native and is the coach of the Florida Rebels AAU basketball program that Jizzle James plays for. He was in Cincinnati when Jizzle James was here for his visit. He knows Jizzle just about as well as anybody. So, Steve, welcome in. Welcome to Bearcat Journal. And we appreciate you jumping on. We know you're a family that there's nobody that has deeper roots to Cincinnati than the Reece family. It's got to feel pretty good to see one of your guys become a Bearcat.
No, I'm super excited. Great fit. Jizzle was hard nosed. He's like one of them throwback Bearcats.
Right.
Back in the Hugs days that I grew up over in the shoe when it was rocking. I mean, kid works extremely hard. Not a loud talker, but definitely lead by example. And the kid is a winner.
He's absolutely a winner. I loved what I saw from him on the EYBL this year. He's a point guard. Like he gets guys involved. He handles the ball. He distributes the ball. He can get in the paint whenever he wants. He's got a great mid-range game. But most importantly, you mentioned we're, I think, about the same age. We both grew up watching those Hugs teams, being in Fifth Third Arena and watching what he built. His defense really is what, like, when you watch him, you're like, man, this is a kid that gets after it. He understands the importance of defense. He understands the importance of being a disruptor, of making the other point guard uncomfortable. Like, I loved watching that about his game because that's a selfless thing to go out there and understand how important it is how you defend.
Right. I mean, like I said, I think it's a perfect fit, and Wes was unbelievable. Not just a coach, but just a person, easy to talk to. The kid really hit it off with Wes, and Coach Dollar and the rest of the staff did a great job recruiting him. And he just felt like it was definitely a family atmosphere down here in Cincinnati. I was excited, to have him back. I tried to get him to eat some Skyline cheese cones, but he didn't. But
We'll work on that.
yeah, yeah. But the kid loved everything about the University of Cincinnati, and I told him, man, look, go back and watch the history. Go back and watch the throwback Bearcats, and that way you can see that, hey, this town is destined for greatness from UC. So it's a basketball city.
Yeah.
We love basketball, and definitely time to get back winning, man. And I think they're on the right track.
You mentioned basketball city. That was something that was important to Jizzle, right? To go to a basketball school. I know he was impacted. Anytime he posted about Cincinnati, the Cincinnati fans flooded. Like, they made it. How important was it for the fan base to make it feel like we want you? When he was at the game, they had the big heads. They were chanting his name. How much of an impact do you think that had on him?
It was a major impact. I mean, he had some really good schools, some really good coaches,
Yeah.
also recruiting them with Georgia, LSU, and Cincinnati just blew them away. I mean, not just the coaches, but the whole city, whole environment. That weekend was a huge weekend for him.
I know they had planned on more. Like, they had planned on this thing kind of going towards signing day a little bit closer. It's only about a month away right now, so not a major thing. But, like, what was it that you saw that made them think, you know what, we found it. Like we found what we are looking for, because that's ultimately for a recruit. I think when you know, you know. And it felt like when they were here, you could see it trending in that direction. Then they go home, they sit down, they talk about it. And it's like, that was what we were looking for. Let's make this official.
I mean, Edrin James, that his dad,
Yeah.
played for the Colts, and he's huge on family. Like he's huge on family, and like we always stress to all of our players, you'll know when it's the right fit because it's gonna feel like family. You'll get that feeling in your gut, and it's crazy that Jizzle, during the football game, turned around and was like, "I'm coming to Cincinnati. Like this home." Feel like home, and I'm excited for the kid. I'm excited for the city, because Coach Miller and the staff, they getting some really good players.
Yeah. I think something was important that we talked about after the visit, watching a Wes Miller practice and getting to see how he engages with his kids, how his kids respect him, his basketball knowledge. Like I know that was something that you talked about, like impressed you as a guy that's been around basketball for a long time. What did you see from that practice, and what do you think Jizzle took from that practice in terms of playing for Wes and being a guy in his program?
They definitely got after it. And
Yeah.
and it's not a lot of times where you see the head coach, that engaged into practice, the energy level, that he brought into practice. And it wasn't like a dog and pony show. You could tell that it was sincere, and this is what he do. Even after correcting the way he articulated, um, to his kids if they were doing something wrong, and the way the kids responded, it was just genuine, and we just like, man, I was blown away. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm excited to see the Bearcats this year. The way they got after it in practice, if they get after it in the American Conference, the city have a lot to cheer about this year.
When it comes to the Big 12, because when he's here, his first year, he's going to be in the Big 12. Did that play a factor of like, I'm going to get a chance to play in the best basketball conference in the country. I'm going to get to go to Kansas, Texas Tech, and all these places that right now are at the top of the stage in college basketball.
Well, that was huge because you got a lot of times we fall in love with a coach and the coach's system, but you're like, I can't go to that conference. Like it's not a big time conference where now, you got the Kansas. Like, can you imagine Kansas coming in here? You know
Oh,
what
it's
I
going
mean?
to be
Like,
fun.
and then Texas Tech. I mean, the Big 12 is a big time conference, and so he's not missing out on that aspect either. So he's going into a big time situation, big time conference, and with West being new, one of his early recruits. So with him and Rayvon Griffin, I mean, them guys are they could have went anywhere in the country.
Right. I know a lot of people look at Isaiah Collier, who Cincinnati is still involved with, and they say, can Jizzle and Isaiah play together? You've been in the EYBL. You've seen Isaiah. From what I've heard, the two of them have a lot of respect for each other's game. I think they could complement each other really well, because more than anything, those are two dudes that are about winning and about the right things. Like I think there's a path where you play them two together. Like you're presenting a lot of things that translate to winning basketball games. And the sense I get from Jizzle, some guys are afraid. Like I don't know about. I don't want to go play with the number one player in the country. He seems like, no, I want to play with the number one guy. Not only because I think we can play well together, because I think I'm the top point guard in the country.
Yeah, and I playing with Isaiah. Isaiah is super talented. Not a lot of times you see a pass first point guard at that size.
Right.
Great character kid. We were very familiar with him. We were recruiting him to play with the Rebels. And definitely somebody that he's unselfish. He wants to win. He competes at a high level. And any kid that come out of our program, they used to playing with other good kids. So that wasn't going to scare him away. Actually, that kind of brought him in to be able to have an opportunity like to put together one of them big time classes coming into the Big 12.
This staff overall, you talk about the family feel. Coach Dollar, Coach Morgan, Coach Roberts, Wes Miller. Like, I think it's something that a lot of places are missing because it feels like these guys all have a great respect for each other. And I think when you're looking from the outside, like as a recruit, that has to trickle down, right? Because you feel like the guy coaching me, my position coach, if you will, it's not really a thing in basketball, but the guy I'm going to spend the most time with is on equal footing with all these guys, and everybody's got a say in it. Everybody's got a piece. Like it's kind of a new age of college basketball, and Wes feels like he's got a staff that's like on the cutting edge of that.
I love the staff. Jizzle and his family love the staff. They they all seem to be connected at the hip. Um, it wasn't no like usually you get one dude that'll dance around and be like, "Hey, look," and they talk about a whole different philosophy and everything. It's
Right.
like this UC staff gets it. They understand, the magnitude of getting it back. And the one thing that me personally, as a director, on the EYBL, but one thing that drew me into it is that Weston come in and big time the whole situation. He came in and he's bringing back the old Bearcats to be a part of this. You come on campus, you see Terry Nelson, you see DeMar Johnson. I'm like, oh, like
Corey
he's
Blunt.
yeah, Corey Blunt was there. You got Steve Logan that was like that's around the program, so that like he's bringing those guys back to be a part of it, and that's huge.
You talk about the EYBL. I think, and I talked about this on another show I did earlier tonight. How important is that for kids to understand? You got to play with a lot of talent. Like the more talent you play with, the better chance you have of winning at the highest level. It's not. I think there was a period we went through where everybody wanted to go somewhere to be the alpha, to be like the big dog, and then you
Yeah,
get there and you realize, well, I don't have anybody around me to help get this done. It feels like there's a mentality change in at that level just below college basketball of the more dudes I play with, the better chance we have to compete for championships. And it feels like Jizzle is all about that. Give me as much talent as possible. Let's go in.
that's our program. I mean, based.
Right.
I mean, them kids. Jizzle been in our program since sixth grade, sixth, seventh grade. So, him coming up, watching the Ben Simmonses, the Blakeney's, the Trey Mans, the Kevin Knoxes. We've been blessed. Jonathan Isaac, like, and they've been on stack teams. And the thing that's unique about our program and other programs, the team takeovers, is that those kids grow together. So they didn't just come in as like
Right.
the top kids in the country. It's like those guys got in the gym, worked, and they kind of grew into who they are today. And that's why they didn't like, hey, let's form a super team. It's like they kind of like developed
Sure.
into who they are today. And it's always been about winning championships and trying to fight for Peach Jam and the magnitude, the stress, so that they're used to playing at that high level and used to getting pushed every day.
It's something to be playing on that main court of Peach Jam on Thursday, Friday, playing games that matter. Like that makes kids better.
Yeah, it's intense to say the
Uh,
least.
for sure. I got two other kids I need to ask you. We talked a lot about Jizzle. I got two other kids I need to ask you about. One of them, Rayvon Griffith's roommate at Arizona Compass Prep Academy, Marcus Allen, who has the second biggest hands I think I've ever seen. Wes is all over Marcus Allen. Tell me about Marcus's game a little bit and why he's somebody that fits maybe what Wes is looking for, because he seems like, I haven't had a ton of interaction with him. I talked to him at Peach Jam a couple times. Seems like a phenomenal kid that's about the right things and really talented.
That's what I was going to lead that off by saying how good of a kid he is. He's a great kid, come from a great background, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, similar to Jizzle. Those guys play with a super chip on his shoulder. That's the reason they're at Arizona Compass right now.
Yeah.
He wanted to show everybody that, every time the ranking come out, man, I'm guaranteed to get a phone call like, Coach, I killed this dude, like, and I'm agreeing with it. So he was like, man, I want to play the best, and he wound up transferring out to Arizona Compass. But the kid, it works hard. It's almost like he's scared to fail.
And then the other young man I want to ask you about, I don't know how much you know about him. He's a 2025 point guard, so he's a young guy. He's on the come up a little bit, but Jalen Reece got a Cincinnati offer a couple weeks ago. Tell me about your son. I know the staff is really high on him already. They like what they've seen. Tell me about your son and where he's at, what work he needs to do, and how good he can be.
No, just he's kind of like, very unselfish, a winner. He's been around for a long time.
Right?
All the guys I done had in the gym and worked them out. He jumped in the drills, and now it's kind of like, it's crazy to see, like it's his time, and he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to be recognized nationally, and he has a super duper chip on his shoulder. So it was great to see that, when Coach West came to our workout and seen him and offered him, like, that was kind of big for our entire family.
Sure.
But he was, he came here with I never took him on any visits or nothing like that. So Cincinnati was his first one unofficially, and he really enjoyed Coach West, really likes Coach West and Coach Dollar. So, we wait to see what comes about that. But we looking forward to him leading us to a state championship this year.
Yeah.
And the unique thing is Jizzle's in our district.
Oh, he gonna try to show Big Brother what
Yeah,
it's all about, right?
and they're super close. So
yeah. Did you coach Justin Jackson?
No, he was in our program though. Yeah.
That was a weird team. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he was in our program.
Austin Rivers and Brandon Knight.
Yep.
That was I saw. Were you at Swanee Sports Academy for what I deemed the greatest AAU tournament I've ever seen? Their final year when they had those 4 games going.
Oh yes,
all at the same time. All of them came down to the buzzer. 2 of them went to overtime. It was Josh Selby. It was Harrison Barnes. It was
you got the true throwback.
Oh, I was there, like standing up on the bleachers trying to see as all 4 of those games came down to the finish line. Like, that was my first time I had really seen Justin Jackson as Mick was getting on him. So he didn't. The only 2 guys shot for that team. Justin, go rebound.
Justin had a phenomenal career at UC though.
He did.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for pulling over and taking a few minutes to chat. Will you be at homecoming this weekend? Will I get to give you a little hat tip?
No, I won't be. I won't be at homecoming this weekend, man. I got to get back. Man, we got some fall league games that we're playing in. So,
will there maybe be a surprise visitor at homecoming that you know about?
It might be a surprise. Yeah, it might be a surprise visit.
Maybe somebody coming up and hanging out with his new teammate. I don't know. I'm just
Maybe.
saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Maybe.
Yeah, we had to see.
All right. I appreciate you, Coach. Thanks for coming on, man. We will talk soon. Looking forward to seeing you out on the road here in the near future, and stay safe traveling back and forth. I'm glad to hear everything is okay after the hurricane and the storm down in Florida, that you guys are good. But thank you for joining us, man. Greatly appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me.
All right, that's Steve Reece. He is
Oh.
the director of the Florida Rebels AAU program, and coaches Jizzle James. And great insight tonight on a lot of things. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up. That's the nightcap. We'll see you tomorrow night. Brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.